The Chicago Bears in preseason game 2 versus the Buffalo Bills get themselves a nice victory. We seen a little bit of Caleb Williams and a little bit of Tyson Bagent and Austin Reed and some other players. Me and Steve-O is here, and we're going to talk about it and break it down right after this.
Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears. I'm your host here, Bobby. I'm joined by my brother, Steve-O. Make sure if you're tuned in with us, you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel as we go ahead and tune in to this post game and break down what we saw in preseason game 2 for the Chicago Bears. Steve-O, the Chicago Bears went out there and got themselves a victory over the Buffalo Bills, 33-6, and pretty much was a dominant game, but it is preseason, so we got to break this whole thing down. Got to take it with a grain of salt because these games really don't matter right now, at least record-wise. But we seen some things out of our people. First thing first, we got to talk about the main man. Caleb Williams came out, went 4 for 7, 95 yards, got a 13.6 average, got the offense down there to the red zone twice, didn't necessarily punch it in for the touchdowns, but got points on the boards for the squad and ended the game with 101.8 QB rating. Steve-O, what did you like or dislike from Caleb Williams on his day?
Like his footwork. That's probably the first thing that popped out to me about was his feel for the game and just his footwork. He just got a sixth sense of when the pressure is around him and then when to go, when to get out. That third down pass to DJ, right on the money. And made sure he shielded him even more because he knew it was a comeback dig. So I like that as well. For a very windy day, he was out there making some pretty good passes, especially even though some of the passes he didn't make. Like that back shoulder pass in the end zone to the right side. That's still a crazy throw to make in that windy condition, as well as that sideline throw he threw to the Cole Kmet on the run off the back foot, like in the mid-air. Like that's just not too many people can make that play in the NFL or period. But he did everything I like. I expected him to see. Like he did what he had to do. If I had to critique anything, I think it was just the communication took a little time. Sometimes the play was snapped at the very last second, but hey, that's expected when you're getting used to these play calls and doing everything, talking to the line and everything, realizing even call audible in this game as well. So I like what he did. A+ for me for what he did today.
For sure. I'm agree with you with the A+. I believe that Caleb Williams, when he came out and said that these reps are going to be paramount, he absolutely meant that, and we absolutely believe that. For him, for his performance, I would say it is a small sample size, but I believe that the Chicago Bears should be happy with the small sample size, at least for right now. He still has more ways to go. We still need to see a little bit more. As the preseason goes on, I expect to see him a little bit more. Especially with the count. I believe he ran out 18 plays. We know that the goal was to have him between 45 and 55 snaps during preseason. So the plan is in place, and we shall see how the Bears map this whole thing out for him. But for this game particularly, I would say, hey, he looked like he was decisive. When he had to get out of the pocket, he got out of the pocket and delivered some balls that you was like, hey, those look like solid, you know what I'm saying, throws. Cole Kmet dropped one, but he also hit Cole Kmet on a huge one on the run as well. And you just got to take it for what it really is. The guy went out there, performed well, and that's what you want to see. You want to take him. You want to see him build that confidence up. You want to see him be able to go out there and facilitate and operate the offense in an efficient way. And that's pretty much what you got out of him. And I can't wait to see more from Caleb Williams for sure.
Definitely need to see. Can't wait to see more. But yeah, for the time being, from start to finish, we just generally control this game from the defensive side, the offensive side, from the coaching side. Yeah, I coached them. We seen Shane Waters scheme up. There was not too many drives. Maybe there was only one drive that probably went negative in the third with Austin. I think that's what it was. But besides that, every drive made sense. All the plays he called made sense. for us to be so worried with the O line. The O line kind of held up pretty well today. No, only one penalty in it, and that was at the beginning of the game with Darnell Wright. And besides that, the backups, nobody else really was sloppy. We didn't really give up too many sacks. I don't think we did give up a sack. But yeah, the online did pretty good. Our running game was great as well. Swift did his thing today. Ian was probably the story of for the running back room today. Ian Willer came in and did with his thing, 2 touchdowns on the day. Um, Seeing Valus be fucking Valus today. He scored a touchdown, dropped a crack toss to the right, fucking fumbled a kickoff, trying to catch it like it was a goddamn Hail Mary. Like at this point, I don't know what's our why we love him so much or why he is there's so much. I don't know at this point, but at this point, I don't know what we can do with him at this point. He's just not a good player.
For sure. But before we get into Vegas, I want to talk about the offensive line. I know myself, you, and a lot of us who have called in for the mailbag episodes, and even some in the comments have shown some type of concern for the offensive line, and rightfully so. The performance in the Hall of Fame game and the performance today, at least with that starting line, you had Braxton Jones, Tevin Jenkins, Coleman Shelton, Matt Pryor, and Darnell Wright start off with your offensive line. Steve-O, did that kind of ease your mind, or you still on edge and you still have to see more before you gain more confidence in the offensive line?
I'm not gonna gain confidence to see the season is starting and we're seeing everybody at full go. You're
Sure.
not gonna see what your online is really about until that happens. But I'll say it's of subs. It's calming me down just a little bit, like because especially off this past week with all the injuries, I think at an all time high we've sitting here like, all right, this online ain't looking good. We're looking bad, but to see them come out here and have a pretty good game today, it kind of make us realize, like we've been saying, if they healthy, they're going to be a pretty good line. But that's the thing, are they going to be healthy?
I'm with you on that. I think it's one of those things that you take as, you know what I'm saying? You feel a little bit good about it, but you right. You know what I'm saying? Because the Buffalo Bills didn't have Ed Oliver out there. That's their guy. That's the guy that's
Mm-hmm.
going to, you know what I'm saying, wreak havoc and penetrate up the middle a lot. So, and you know what I'm saying, we didn't see him out there for the Buffalo Bills. So, though you can feel a little bit good about the offensive line's performance, you still got to take it with a grain of salt because, Steve-O, you said something that was key to where these guys are not really playing at 100%. And you know what I'm saying, when it comes to personnel wise or whatever. So I'm with you on that. I say it was a good day. You take it for what it is, but we still got to see improvement, and we still want to see this offensive line come to, you know what I'm saying, the forefront and say, hey, these are the starters. These are gonna be the starters, and you want to see those starters build
Yep.
chemistry and gain reps together before this season start, because we know how crucial this season is going to be.
It's going to be very, very, very crucial. So I hope they get it together. It, it- I'm really with. I think we're gonna see way more in the next preseason game. They're gonna get more reps. Montez might play as well. So I think the next game would be more of a better judgment versus the maybe max 25 plays that we seen our starters do today. So with us, especially with the joint practices coming up, then we got to play them after that joint practice. I'm eager to see what they're gonna do.
I'm with you on that because I think this week coming up is actually going to be a big week for the Chicago Bears, because now you're going against another, you know what I'm saying, a team who wants to compete within their division, just like the Chicago Bears, you know what I'm saying? And their team, you might not have there's probably not a belief that they can win their division. The same thing with the
Mm-hmm.
Chicago Bears, and they believe in their quarterback 100%. The Chicago Bears believe in theirs, so it's going to be a lot of things that come into play and that we're going to want to see from this offensive line. But I want to jump into Velus Jones real quick. You mentioned it just early. We seen some solid runs, but then we seen some bonehead stuff that be like, damn, Velus again, bro. Like the drop kickoff. I don't understand how you drop that when you have nobody running towards you until you catch the ball, and then you drop a halfback pitch. You know what I'm saying? And you like, what are we doing? So, Steve-O, how you feeling about Valus? Did anything change, or you
I'm
still
done.
feeling about the same way?
I'm done. I'm done. Like I feel like out of all of us, I've been the most lenient with him. After I seen him drop, even though it didn't count, how the fuck you drop a toss? Like, and then you proceed after scoring a touchdown, you proceed to you can't you textbook it's textbook how to catch a punt, and you
That's a
just
fact.
completely said I'm gonna catch it my own way, and you muffed the shit out of it. Like at this point, bro, I don't know what to tell you. It's going on year 3. It's over. Move on, cut your losses. You try to turn him into something, and he ain't turning his damn self. So it's just I can't do it no more. I'm done.
For sure. So I feel you on that, and I ain't gonna dispute that. But my question for you is if you move off of Vegas Jones, at least you can replace him in the running back room because you got so many. But then when it comes to the kick return, where do the Bears go? Because it seemed like DeAndre Carter had his hiccups as well.
I work with him.
Would you not work with Ian Willer? He got some kickoff and punt return stuff that he did back in college. I don't know why he's looked for
I
the
mean,
Chicago Bears per se,
it
but
yeah, I'll use him as well because I feel like he should make the team. Probably have Travis Homer, so Travis Homer got some history of doing that too. So who knows what they can do? I feel like there's people on this even with Pitt. Like if he was to keep Pitts got some he got some experience at doing it actually pretty decent, especially when he was a 49ers. And sometimes that in the and since was some slight gains where he had some pretty good return skills with us. But anybody with Velas at this point, anybody. Like it's been 3 years, bro. Like if you ain't learned how to catch a fucking, you ain't gonna never learn.
I feel you on that because that's definitely one of them ones to where you like, bro, like, can you get it together? Because even like last year, when we look at Trent Taylor, who was picked up, you know what I'm saying, like during the season, you're like, bro, at least the man did. He ain't run much back, but he caught the damn ball. That's all you really needed him to do. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So yeah, this one is definitely one of those ones that's a little tricky for Vegas Jones, even though he had 6 carries for 34 yards. That's a
Nigga tricked us.
5.7 yard
He did.
average and got him a touchdown. We had a long run of 19 yards.
That's what he tricked us. We thought he was a SEC returning motherfucker, and he wasn't. Won all them awards, and they wasn't worth shit.
For sure. Um, yeah. So with now it's
Austin
time.
Booker.
Yeah, it was definitely time. I'm about to move on to the defense. It's time to move on to the defense, Steve-O. We had some performances out there. Austin Booker was somebody who performed well. Khalid Kareem performed well the
Yep.
last few weeks. We seen it. We got a little play from Jonathan Owens, coming back from Paris, supporting the wifey. But let's hone in on Austin Booker, man. 5 total tackles, 4 solo, 2.5 sacks, Steve-O, and 2 tackles for loss with 3 QB hits, bro. Let's talk about Austin Booker, bro. How you feeling about his performance?
Bro. He was just way more active than he was in the last game. And of course he didn't get that much as much burn as he got this game, but we seen a lot of his repertoire today, and it was nice to see. Seeing him in multiple situations where he had to use his hands. We seen him just using his speed. We seen him using different type of move like a spin, a club. Like he used a lot of things to get around it, and he was everywhere. And he showed. I think the most important thing, he showed that he got a motor. So no matter if he stopped on the first time, he gonna hit you with a second move, and then he gonna go right around you if he could do that. And that's what he did. So with that being said, if he's possible to make it to have a lot of starting rotation time in the league when the season start, probably mix it up with Dexter. I mean not Dexter, with Walker and him. It, he might could get some nice amount of stats in a regular season just due to what Sweat would do and what Dexter was going to do for him.
I agree with you on that. I think this game right here was big to see from Austin Booker in the Hall of Fame game. We've seen a few plays here and there, but this game more specifically, he was more uh active. You know what I'm saying? For a lack of a better word, he was more active when it came to the pass rush and being that presence when it came to the run game. We seen a number of moves with this young player. you know what I'm saying, being able to go inside or outside with the spin move, being able to have that bull rush, being able to have that swipe game to get past people and the
Mm-hmm.
Bears stunts. He seemed like when you got that speed that he has, that if the Bears are going to run some stunts on certain plays, he's able to get around, you know what I'm saying,
Yep.
the inside man that's going to shift outside and he's going to jump inside. He has the speed to that's going to allow him to be able to get to the quarterback. To me, it was a solid game overall from Austin Booker, and this is why you drafted him, because when we talked about it, or at least me, I love Leatu Latu coming out of the draft, but when you look at Austin Booker, he might be the, you know what I'm saying, the project
The
version.
smaller version of him.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's how it was, because Leatu Latu had a bag full of moves. He just needed to, work on a few things. And the same thing could be said about Austin Booker. But we got Hayes joining us. My guy, what's the word? How you feeling
Listen,
about this game?
I was coming in to talk about Austin Booker, bro.
Oh, go
Austin
ahead,
Booker
start that
today.
then.
Listen, bro, let me tell y'all about Austin Booker, man. Like, I said it over when I was over on Bleacher Report. The thing, if Austin Booker would have came into this rookie year with how raw he is and he didn't play a lot, people would have just been like, okay, like we knew that he was a project. Let's develop him, get him an offseason of workout, weight training, things like that. If Austin Booker can prove to be a solid rotational piece or anything above that this season, he's one of the steals of the draft for the Chicago Bears in this one, period. Like, I love that you compare him to Leatu Latu because there is some similarities there, whereas Leatu Latu is way more polished. Like,
Yep.
Austin Booker in the way that he's able to use, I know people say that he's small and he is, but it's that combination of speed and the strength that he still has, even at that size, that creates mismatch opportunities for him. And I would not be surprised at all if Eric Washington keeps finding ways to get Austin Booker out on that field. That means he's going to play some inside, he's going to play some outside in his rookie year. But man, he had a really good game.
For sure. Before we continue on with the defense, what did you think about the offense? More specifically, Caleb Williams and his performance.
Kind of what I said during halftime. Like, to me, Caleb Williams showed a little bit of everything that has the potential of making Caleb Williams great. Right, the recognition, the waiting to make big. We saw the big arm on that long pass to that 42-yard pass. I forgot who that was to.
Swift.
Was that to Swift? Yeah, that was to Swift. We got to see him being patient in the pocket, even though the things were looking like they were breaking down around him on that third down pass to DJ Moore. Right, we got to see that.
Yep.
We got to see him make a play with his legs. He literally waited to the last minute to make that play with his legs, got the Bears a first down on 13-yard run there. And then we also got to see just the intelligence. That play that went to the end zone, I can't overstate it enough, how it would have been easy for him to try to just run or whatever, maybe put your team in a worse position. He sat there and waited, even though things were crumbling around him, and then waited till your wide receiver gets to the end zone, and you made a pass that was either going to be caught by your wide receiver or he's going to be incompleted, and you can kick the field goal. We got to see the mid-passing game, the big game, the legs. You got to see a little bit of everything from Caleb Williams today, man.
Yeah, that's what makes it very, very intriguing to see more of Shane Waldron's offense for sure. But with this defense, man, what did you think about the defense in totality? Because I think with the starters out there, they came out and they pretty much held their own. Josh Allen is no slouch. He's definitely one of the top quarterbacks in his league. And if you give him an inch, he gonna take the mile. What do you think about the defense performance and all?
The defense performed really well. I mean, when you look at it, held them to 200 yards from scrimmage. They had a 30% third down completion percentage. We got to the quarterback. We played solidly in the secondary. It was nothing in this game other than this. The fact we got 8 sacks as a team is crazy.
It's crazy.
Crazy.
Outside of the 8 sacks, like there wasn't the big wow moments. Well, no, I got to take that back because we even had the pick six. So we did a little bit of everything too. Like, the thing that I love about what we saw from the defense is that to me, won the battle of the trenches today, and that defensive line was one of the biggest questions. And we won the trenches battle today to me, and that's something that's big in my opinion.
For sure. How you looking at the defense today in total?
It's like mid-season form. Like the assignments was there. There wasn't no misassignments. We made sure we tackled correctly. Wasn't a lot of arm tackles out there. We secured the tackle. And you're not running on us. Like I said in the live, when the running back run through that line, it's like a fucking building collapse. He just disappears. You don't see him no more. You're not running them against us. But I like that even our secondary was on their ass. The depths secondary played their ass out today. They was not letting many passes. If they could get to it and they was near it, they was catching that ball. So when it comes to contested catches, I'm very confident in our secondary. I do need them to. It was a lot of looking, especially in those zones. There was a lot of looking, waiting for them to catch it, then attacking instead of beating them to the punch. But besides that, I like that we looked like we was in midseason form. We wasn't just sitting there out there looking lost.
For sure. Did anybody really have a good gauge on Javon Dexter? Me personally, I didn't really get a good gauge on him. I had to go back and look and see if
He
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 was able to do some things. Did you get a good gauge on him?
he was a more of a factor in the run game for
Yeah.
sure. Like
Okay.
he the pressure was he was more we it was more to be wanted from the pressure from the pass rush, but on the run stopping he was a run stuffer all day.
I appreciate that. So we definitely gonna have to take some more looks at that for sure. How do you guys feel about Khalid Kareem's performance? Is he turning out to be, a solid player, or is it kind of in that realm of Terrell Lewis last year, who was picking up a bunch of sacks, making plays, and was still not on the team? How y'all looking at that?
I think Khalid showed that he can watch some tape and fix his mistakes because
That's
last game
yeah,
he was just all out of the place. Like he was making plays, but he was out of position, hit sticking when he didn't need to hit stick and stuff like that. Like today he looked like he watched some tape. They called him out like this is the things we need you to prove on. Gap discipline, realizing where you need to be on the field. And today it wasn't a problem today. He was at the right spots at the right time. If you touched him, you was going down. Like there was no plan about that. So I think the difference between him and Terrell wasn't the best tackler.
okay,
So when it came to that, we're not going to deal with you on this team, especially when we have linebackers that's going to be there and make that tackle. So I think he has a better chance of making a roster because he's showing that he's learning from his mistakes and he's I think a better tackler.
for sure. Hayes.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think Khalid Kareem definitely has a chance to make this team. I think that he's a system guy, and I think he can be a guy that Eric Washington can really like and fall in love with as far as using him as a system guy. I tell you what, like outside of that tackle for lot, like he's ahead of Dominique Robinson right now. That's for damn sure.
For sure.
So but yeah, I like Khalid's game. I think that he shows the right level of aggression, explosion that we need as well. He's just not a guy that you're gonna say is an every down edge, and that's perfectly fine. You don't need him to be, but I think he was really good in the game today.
For sure. Hayes, we never got your input. What did you think about the offensive line today? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
With Braxton Jones,
yeah,
Tevin Jenkins, Shelton, Matt Pryor, and Darnell Wright.
solid. That's what I give them. They were solid today. It wasn't perfect because we talked about how the number of plays that kind of broke down and Caleb Williams had to, kind of extend plays, moving around the pocket with his legs and things like that. But like nothing's going to be perfect, especially not in preseason when you have a starting offensive line that hasn't had very much continuity because people have been injured all out in and out the lineup. So they were a lot better than what I expected them to be with how the offensive line has been talked about in training camp so far.
Yeah, that's kind of the way we went with it. Like we like what we seen, but we was pretty much saying that we want to see them continue to work up the chemistry and figure out who your starter is gonna be. It's looking like those guys are gonna be in with right now with the addition of Ryan Bates making his return. So right now it was pretty good. But Hayes, me and Steve O kind of touched on the joint practice coming up versus the Cincinnati Bengals. How big is this week coming up for the Chicago Bears in these joint practices?
Oh, it's huge. It's absolutely huge. Like joint practices, I think to me are of course head and shoulder step up from normal training camp because you're going against your own guys. It's going to get testy. There's going to be some guys that get into it and get into a fight, but like I think that's really when you go up for a full week against, or I don't know if it's the full week, but if you go up several practices against another team that has no reason to take it easy on you, take it easy on your guys. Yeah, there's a respect. They're not out there trying to kill anybody, but I think this is an important start of that development for these young players, especially this young offense led by Caleb Williams.
Agreed. Because I think it's definitely finna be one, especially your offensive line are going to get tested by their defensive line, and your defensive line going to have to step up and make some plays versus their offensive line, and it's going to be fun to just watch. How many fights y'all got? I got over 3. I got over 3.
I think probably just one because they seeing that it's gonna cost them some money now.
Oh yeah, you right.
So I think they might just get one and be like, all right, y'all, let's chill.
Yeah, because I think in one of those Lions Giants joint practices, somebody was swinging helmets, so they definitely gonna try to.
Yeah.
I think
I
they
thought that was
definitely gonna try to
DK.
keep it down. Yeah.
Uh,
Oh yeah. So
D-
Seattle, it was. Yeah, DK. That's what I
the
meant.
deep, but I think he was it his own teammate that he swung that on.
I thought it was
Or
the
my trip.
opposing team. I don't know.
Jesus.
I had to
Oh,
be
no.
touch
Here's what
base
I'm
with that.
excited for in these joint practices: the offensive line, because we've heard so much about the offensive line against our own defense. I'm excited to see how the offensive line makes it out this week against another team.
Facts. Because they've been all right. The Hall of Fame
Yeah, they've
game
been
was
solid.
decent. This game was all right. So now you're going up against somebody I believe they got some legit rushers over there. I'm not saying that the Bills or the Texans don't, because they absolutely do. But it's gonna be interesting to see this upcoming week for sure.
Fact.
But hey, that's pretty much it, fellas. Y'all got anything else?
Y'all, man, go over
Luke
to
Gesty
NBA
just
Central.
called a screen on 1st and 10.
What a time to be alive.
I'm so glad that motherfucker ain't here, bro.
Man, I'm trying to tell you, bro.
Could
I'm
you
trying to
imagine Luke
tell you.
Getsy would like imagine if we had a talented team like this with Luke Getsy, and just by the talent they were able to make his bullshit play calling look good, and he ended up staying here for like 5-6 years.
That'd be bad. But nonetheless, that's it from us today, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure y'all head over there if y'all want to go ahead and join a live call. Slide over there to NBA Central, C-Dub and Big K holding down the gold medal game.
Oh my God.
Slide to NBA Central to watch that live call with C-Dub as he continue to work on this beautiful Saturday. Thank y'all for tuning in to Chicago Bears Central. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. If you want to call in and be a part of that mailbag episode, the number to call is 773-242-9336. Thank y'all. It's been a good one. Y'all make sure y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day, man. Chi-Town up and bet down, baby.